Hello and welcome to Artful Strategies, a podcast about the business of the entertainment industry. I'm your host, Savanah Oulo, and we will be diving into behind the scenes of what happens within this industry and sort of just figuring out how to make it in it as well. Today we have a seasoned expert in digital discovery and streaming. She also happens to be the head of A&R at Boomplay. Her name is Elizabeth Mwangi-Karuru, or Liz for short. And today we're going to be talking about what it takes to make it in the algorithmic space and how we can playlist you, streaming, and more gems that you can discover throughout the conversation. So stay tuned. Welcome to Artful Strategies.
Thank you so much, Savanah.
Tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
My name is Elizabeth Karuru, mostly known in the industry as Liz Karuru.
Okay.
I just tend to find Elizabeth an oldie name. People say it's beautiful, but well. I am A&R manager, specialist.
Okay.
Currently working with Boomplay. Previously employed by another music company.
Yeah.
I had been in the industry for now close to 10 years. Moving away from content acquisition, which is where I started from,
right,
to now focus majorly on A&R, which basically stands for Artist and Relations, specialist manager or something like that, so let's call it that.
Right.
So that's me so far, but I can also consider myself like an industry guru.
Okay. We love it because that's the type of energy that we need for this type of podcast.
Yeah.
We're really trying to dive deep into the mechanics of what it takes to sort of just make it in the industry, understand the business of it, and growing from that front.
Okay.
Yeah. So today I guess we're going to be talking about cracking the code and how streaming algorithms shape creative careers, right? Just starting off, understanding the digital pulse, right?
Okay.
Maybe we can dive deeper into the mechanics of streaming algorithms and their journey into mainstream music and content discovery. So what exactly are these streaming algorithms? How do they work? What do we need to know about getting into that?
I would, in layman's language, algorithms are the digital gatekeepers.
Right.
For the longest period of time, our music consumption has been decided by people.
Okay.
And when I say people, it's basically the radio presenter who decides that your music is worth being listened to on radio.
Yeah.
The DJ who decides that tonight I'm going to make sure that you're the top listened to.
Yeah.
That producer who decides that they don't feel like they want to release your audio to you to take it to where it's going to be consumed by fans.
Yeah.
There has been a lot of human intervention when it comes to what makes it to the ears of the listener and what does not.
Yeah.
What digital has done, it has created a platform where now the power is in your hands as an artist. That is where algorithms come in. Basically, what algorithms do is they decide what is being consumed, what is going to be recommended to the users, what is going to trend, and that is where now we start saying it's a game of numbers.
Okay.
So algorithms what determine what is going to reach to the to the handset, because nowadays most times when it comes to streaming and they're having conversation around streaming, it's normally mainly on your handset. Otherwise we would actually just be talking about YouTube up to now about when it comes to streaming. But the truth is there's Spotify, there's Apple, there's Boomplay, and all these platforms are giving a free concert to every artist to perform if you want to.
Yeah.
So when now we play with numbers, what they do is they make you either appear a lot in the playlist that people listen to, and there's two type of playlist when we talk about a streaming platform, like let's say even Boomplay. There's those curated are the ones that we have editors who are doing the playlisting themselves. Then there are those generated by the system.
Okay.
The ones generated by the system heavily depends on the numbers, and that's when now the algorithms now normally come into play.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you're keen a lot of times when it comes to how you pick your music when you're listening on a platform, and then probably you select one track. And then from there, you start getting
it starts
making sense. It somehow aligns that you start listening to the kind of music that probably was determined by the first track that you chose. So now that is where these systems now come into play in understanding what you as a consumer is looking for, what I will bring to you as now the system to ensure that you're still hooked to our platform. Because to be honest, let's say you're not even a rock music fan,
right?
Then you chose Nairobi with BN because that is what your music is. Then tell me why you listen to that, and then the next thing you're being taken to some metal rock, and then after that you decide to be patient. You'll be like, let me see where this goes. It gets you all the way back to Lingala, and you'll be like, okay, dude, I'm done with this platform. How did we even go from this? Even DJs don't do that. If your DJ is going to be playing your music and jumping from Beyonce all the way back to Nairobi, and then takes you all the way again to Amapiano, you'll be like, okay, this DJ is confused. You'll be feeling some type of way the whole time, right? So what every system is built to do is to actually understand what the consumer wants, and now that is where now artists need to be very, very focused on understanding who am I targeting. Because as an artist, you know who you're targeting. You also produce music for that target audience, which makes it easier for anybody generating even a playlist on your behalf to actually put you in the playlist, which will make you put you at the forefront of being consumed by the right audience.
You relevant,
Exactly. So that way it makes it easy for me to realize that Willie Paul, I know the style Willie Paul sings, and I know his type of music. So I know most times the playlist that I know who do very well in, and in a very high chance is the person who listens to that playlist will also automatically get to listen to them from a system generated playlist, because they can used to listen to the playlist under which Willie Paul is. So when it comes to now just the platform radio, the normal one, when you select one song, then it auto generates the next playlist. Willie Paul, there's a very high chance, will also appear in that playlist, because we are also learning, the system is also learning to know how to give it to you. And that's the beauty of technology, because it is making work easier for everybody. So algorithms just make it easier for you to be highly on the recommended list, of course, to appear under the new discoveries that are there nowadays. It makes it easy for you to also have an equal chance with Beyonce, because you're on the same playlist at the same time. Then why you and Beyonce are sharing a whole stage? So that's the beauty of algorithms. And when artists learn how to use data-driven information to their advantage, I can tell you for sure there's going to be a lot, and we have seen it of late, where there's a lot of discoveries that are done from the digital streaming platforms, in comparison even to TV and radio. It is giving artists a chance to actually just have an equal chance, to not have to rely on people to give you the push that you need, but to be consumed on a very fair ground, which is based on now purely what you've produced and the kind of quality that you're giving out and churning out to your fans.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And maybe to build on some context, what exactly is Boomplay, and what does it do? How does it differentiate from streaming platforms, publishing, distribution, etc.? What is Boomplay?
Boomplay is a streaming platform that has mainly been focusing on the African market. We are available for download on your iOS, Android. When I say iOS, naongea na watu wa Apple. When I talk about Android, is anything that is not Apple. We also come pre-installed in Tecno, Itel, Infinix phones. We have content from the rest of the world. We give you, even currently I'm just from talking to someone who wants to start supplying us with Indian content. So we are not limited to the amount of consumption you can enjoy when it comes to you enjoying the application. What we are is a streaming platform. Okay. When it comes to distribution, we are giving artists penetration for people to consume their music from listening. We have the audio, we have video version. We also have a Boom Live aspect to it, where it's normally like a chat room. So the chat room allows people to have their own individualized accounts where they can actually have like their own chat rooms. But we have like one which is also like the general one, which we normally have even live concerts with artists. We normally have Q&As, even panel discussions about different aspects of the industry. So we have created a one-stop shop for someone to actually come listen to music, watch videos, enjoy interaction with other people, read some news, even interact with artists, because now artists also have a Boomplay for Artists function where they actually genuinely just come and start chatting guys up randomly on a random Saturday when they have nothing to do, and they just want to know what their fans are doing.
So it's more or less like a Facebook or Instagram for music. Would you call it that?
I can say it's a Jumia for music.
A Jumia for music.
A Jumia
I love
for
that.
music. with a chat with us option.
Okay. Because
Yes,
I've always wanted to have a platform where I can maybe comment on how good a song is, or like maybe interact on like the thought process behind writing a song, like for those music geeks. Because personally, I'm a music geek, and I'm sure some of the people here in the production team are as well. So I think that's really dope. That's really dope.
Yeah,
personally, to be honest, I haven't interacted with Boomplay as much. I'm a Spotify warrior.
I will convert you.
I'm a Spotify warrior, and I've always wanted to see like any platform that I'm streaming anything, be it movies, videos, etc. Sort of interact with the content a bit more, and sort of just give like reviews, say, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. Maybe this would have been better if it had this and that. You know how we do on YouTube. So pretty much.
Yeah, we have that. We have made sure that is available, and also the fact that now you can also just create your own playlist, which we actually help you promote as an individual. Like as a user, I can actually go and create a playlist.
Right.
And then reach out to Boomplay, because we love, I honestly think that we are the one company that is also very user-centric.
Right.
We just don't focus on just dishing out the music, but we also just ensure that we create activities that are also user-friendly. And that's why we do a lot of, even if you go to our social media, we normally do a lot of like Instagram lives, where we actually are engaging the fans. We do a lot of WhatsApp seeding, where we actually, in campuses, we have even our WhatsApp groups that are normally planned by Boomplay and controlled by Boomplay, where we actually also get what the fans and the students would like to see more.
Right.
We have done a lot of campus activities that start from football games and matches, all the way from to taking artists there to just perform for the fun of it, collaborating with brands as well to do activations in the campus spaces, which I think for us has really, really gone a long way in establishing who we are in the industry, in terms of, number one, focusing of course on the artists, but also ensuring that we bring them closer to their fans so that they don't seem like this unreachable entity that is not relatable to the normal people. And as I was saying to someone today in the morning, I was telling them we're going to get to a place where artists will want to know who their fans will want to know who their artist is.
Yeah.
So those days where artists were not that accessible will have to shift, because the generation that we are having now wants to feel like they relate with you for them to consume you.
Absolutely.
Otherwise they will walk away.
It's
becoming a relationship which is a give and take, and now we are moving a lot, and I thank God that we started doing it, but we are moving towards activities that are actually doing that on behalf of fans, so that they also realize that these artists are also normal people. So that all these things for trolling people, being insensitive to who artists are, we minimize it, because I'm normally an artist advocate in terms of how, as an audience, we see them.
Right.
And when if corporates or these organizations create these spaces where even the artist is safe to come and actually mingle and talk to their fans and bring out the human element to these people, it makes it a bit more sensitive. And that is normally the trick number one when it comes to consumption as an artist, is get a fan group that actually relates to you.
Right.
So you will not only have people who consume, but you will have a tribe for life.
Okay.
Which is what some of these artists like Nadia, and I can tell you for sure, people like Nadia have a tribe. People like Willie Paul, in as much as people would think that he has a very loyal tribe. And these people literally would walk, I think, from their homes to a concert that he's doing just because they want to see Willie Paul. And people don't understand that. But it's a very, very simple thing to do, but it makes a big difference. You see, he's on every Sunday, I think, in the afternoons, he normally has like a dance thingy with dancers
I didn't know
somewhere.
that. I don't consume his music like that.
Like that is what he does. He just shows up and then they do like these dance things like somewhere on the road, and they just dance and take these clips. Tell me why, if I was dancing with Willie Paul on Sunday, I will not walk to his concert on Saturday.
Sure, I feel that.
So there's that mentality by artists that they need to be unapproachable, they need to be inaccessible for them to become the idolized. But the truth is, especially now with the generation that we have, they want to see that I'm actually relating to this person for them to consume you. So what Boomplay has been doing, and that is some of the the knowledge that we collect over time and we have been trying to implement, is to ensure that we are creating a platform where everybody is accessible to the other person.
Okay.
The fans can access the artist and the artist can also access the fans. In somewhere like Nigeria, there's a time where we took someone like Tiwa Savage under this most famous bridge, and then we just did like an open concert, and the place was full, and then she just came and interacted, and these are the things people don't. I can talk about the things that we need to do so that we can start seeing the changes that we need to have in the industry. But the truth is, it all starts also from people who have the power to do it, which Boomplay has been doing.
Okay, and you've touched a bit on visibility and success and things, some key factors that contribute to that. So obviously you have to build a loyal fan base, have a community in a sense, and continuously interact with these people as well. What other maybe key factors would you say influence recommendations, especially when playlisting or pushing for your music?
Of course, quality of music.
Right.
Let's start from that part. Production plays the biggest role in terms of how your music is going to be consumed. Right. It's important. While it is important to see what is trending, it is also important to understand whether whatever is trending is something that you need to trend with. There are those artists, to be very, very honest, who they are always moving with the trend.
Okay.
They are always changing. They don't have, like, if you can ask, you cannot even understand what exactly the artist does in terms of singing, what their style of music is. And I understand diversity, but the truth
are you talking about Diamond?
Diamond is on a league of his own. Please don't try to run. Don't try to do what Diamond is doing because you'll flop. But when it comes to people like Atemi, people like June, Ashui, these are people who, for the longest time, they have done a lot of soul music, a lot of sultry performances, and to be honest, I live for those that kind of music because it's a lot of quality. There's a lot of production. If you listen or even if you watch an Atemi performance, you see the amount of work that has gone into that production. Right. It doesn't negate the fact that we have urban tone. Urban tone is also there. It's being consumed. The numbers are big. But do you tell me why you see Atemi performing an urban tone song?
Very rare.
Exactly.
If close to impossible.
And then even for you, be like,
no.
So first things first, it is understanding your style, understanding what your genre is, understanding what you're best in, and then now maximizing and amplifying the best of that. There's of course she can possibly see how she can merge the two. There's Savanah Oulo did a collab with the Cardinali. Right. An amazing song. Yeah. You would never have thought that Savanah Oulo would sing with the Cardinali, right? But they did something that was actually working for the two of the brands. Cardinali are trending. They have been trending for the last 4 years. These are people who, to be honest, their music, even I am a big fan of Savanah Oulo, but I also listen to Cardinali, and I think also it's because I'm music centric. Right. That's why I can shift sides very fast. Yeah. But even for someone who's a fan of Cardinali, they will consume Savanah Oulo because Cardinali wamesema. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Savanah Oulo fans, they will be like, okay, what is this all about? So probably they will listen from a curiosity standpoint, right?
So collaboration.
It's a collaboration.
Collaboration is important as well.
It's important. Yeah. So you don't need to sing like Cardinali for you to fit that frame. Yeah. You just need to see how can we match the two styles and come up with something beautiful. Mm-hmm. And that is where now creativity now comes into space on production. Right. You just don't jump on a trend just because it's trending. You just don't do Amapiano just because Amapiano is trending. Yeah. It doesn't make sense because, to be honest, what makes you think that I want to listen to you Amapiano? Yes, South Africa Amapiano is full. It's Tanzania have also taken up Amapiano properly. Nigeria is as well.
Yeah.
So it is thinking, how can I do an Amapiano song, or do I need to even do it myself, or can I just bring in a collaboration with an Amapiano artist and then we see how we can merge our styles?
Yeah.
So when we leave that comfort zone on production, it will make our work easy, and that, to be honest, is the biggest factor which influences how a song trends.
Okay.
Now, the other things are out of your control.
All right.
Because to be very honest, it is the other factors that will make you now trend are also very determined by several factors.
Right.
Anguka Nayo came at the right time.
It was relevant.
It was relevant.
Yes.
Whatever was happening in the country.
Yeah.
It was the perfect theme song.
Yeah.
So Anguka Nayo just fell right into the right. You know those things that it's a God-given chance. It just happens that way, that sometimes you cannot control what is happening.
And even then, to be honest, I don't know if there's any other music those guys have.
To be honest, Odaglies, they're called Odaglies.
Yeah.
And probably you may not even know.
Yeah.
But that's another thing that sometimes just chance. It just happens that when you are dropping something is happening around you, which influences that the trending of your song. Then number 3, oh my God, work. If there's something that most of our artists rarely do, is investing in marketing and promotion of their songs.
Yeah.
If there's something that I have learned from the Nigerian music space, and I will speak about them because the brand that I work for, we are international and we also work with the artists, right? They really invest a lot when it comes to marketing and promotion of their songs.
Right.
When they are about release, I will give you a lot of examples, because most of them, when they are about release, even artists that you would not know, when they're mostly about release their projects, do you know these people invest in a media tour in Kenya?
Okay.
They work with there is a PR manager called Joy. There's another one called Camille. There's Anyiko Awoko. These are some of the PR managers that are big in the music industry when it comes to promoting of music.
Right.
This Nigerian artist will happily pay her fee, and then organize a trip, and he will pay flight and accommodation for, let's say, 5 people from their team, come to Kenya, spend a whole week doing groundwork. They will come to our offices, they will go around and meet anybody they need to meet in the industry, they will go for radio and TV interviews, and they have not yet even dropped the song yet.
I see. Maybe that's how what's his name, Adekunle, did his thing as well. And that's how he got popularity.
That's what they
in
do.
Kenya. World as well.
World as well.
Before he performed at Blankets, and then who else? I think Tenny the Entertainer was here.
All of them.
Yeah.
Tell me which, even Tanzania are catching up.
Yeah.
A lot. Tell me which Kenyan artist leaves this Kenya to go to West Africa, plan a media tour to start promoting their releases before even they've been released. Tell me which one, leave alone even, West Africa is even far. Let's go to Tanzania.
Right.
Except a major 5-10 of them that we know, Akina Calligraph, who do that, Akina Nadia, who do that. Tell me which other one.
It's pretty rare because guys also don't have budget, if you think about it.
But you see, some of these things, you have to look at them as an organization. Today, if you start a startup company and you decide, you know what, I actually want to start farming.
Right.
Number 1, because it's a passion. Number 2, because I know how to farm. Because by the time you're becoming an artist, you're saying you know how to sing, right? So you have invested in seeds, high quality certified seeds. Okay, you have taken a piece of land, you have tilled, you have farmed, you have paid for water. Even let's say you have gone the extra mile of digging a borehole, which will cost you like what, 1 million shillings. You have done all that, and then now you have seen the crop coming up, you have been blessed, and now we are having a bumper harvest. Why will you not put in the extra 10% of the overall budget that you had to say, let me leave my farm, let me go to Marikiti and start figuring out that market over there. Let me walk all the way to Junction and start talking to the different marts that are there who are normally dealing with green grocers and ask them if they would mind that I be their supplier. It is literally almost like 10% of whatever you have overall spent, because you know the amount of work you have put in producing to wherever you have. It's the same in music. You have spent time creating, you have gone to producers, you have done a lot of work even with your production. Now you have the gold mine here, your sweat, tears and blood. Tell me why you will not spend another 5-10% of your overall budget to just go knocking doors to ensure that this track is doing well. And ironically, most of this even doesn't even just locally, leave alone even just going to take the music to West Africa or to Tanzania because you want to break the borders, right? Even just here locally, most of our artists assume that releasing on YouTube is it.
Sanaipe Tande. She does that. I think she rarely does media tours, all these
even just call follow-ups.
And that's it.
Writing an email and writing to email and pitching. I'm like, I'm releasing this song, or rather I've released this song, kindly assist with editorials and playlisting. Writing even just going to Spotify and go for your Spotify for artists and creating your own playlist and promoting it yourself. I'm like, guys, listen to my playlist. This is a kind of even just doing a simple artwork for your social media and tell guys, please listen to my new track. It's available on all streaming platforms. That is the kind of effort that we don't see when it comes to a lot of Kenyan artists, because we are comfortable.
Absolutely. So obviously we've touched a bit on some of the challenges or pitfalls that come with algorithmic. Well, I can't even say the word. With playlisting or using the algorithm. So budgeting is one thing. In terms of getting the resources, I have the platform now, I've built the community. What other things can I think about in terms of why I'm not really cutting it outside of even the quality of the music that I put out? Just
being in the right community spaces. Let's start from there. Because what I've learned with the arts, to be honest, you cannot really, it's hard to, there's that saying that normally goes, it's something about faster when you work with others.
Oh wow!
By the way,
it's very early in the morning.
Need your cup of coffee, but
I do need my coffee today.
Number one, most artists need to also understand that they need to belong to a community.
Absolutely.
And when I say about a community, I'm speaking about people from all different sectors in the music industry. This is from DJs to producers to just people in the distribution platforms. All these bodies play different roles. Okay, you cannot. There is something about kujituma that watu hawananga. Literally, hata kwa music ni kujituma.
People expect their success to just come out.
No, it doesn't work like that. It's normally one out of 100 chances that it will just be a very organic thing that you are now trending in number one. It's just going to be that. But the truth is, when it comes to even these TikTok music groups, because to be honest, if there's something that I've noticed since 2020. A lot of TikTok break-ins in the market have happened. The TikTok break-ins, which word am I using?
That's appropriate.
It's appropriate, because you also have to start knowing these communities and how they operate. Unfortunately, shyness doesn't get people far.
I feel that, and I always tell, as a talent manager, I always tell my artists, you need as much content as possible around the music that you're putting out in order to get that visibility.
You need to know people, and you need to just give, because you see that the beauty of knowing all these people is, let's say I have something that is trending and I know it can do well as a dancing challenge on TikTok, right?
Absolutely,
if I wanted to trend on TikTok, what do? I will have to approach most of the people who are already known
to do those dancing challenges and everything.
So it means I need to approach them. So you can go initially with favor card, right? Because sometimes also God leads with favor, because I'm a huge believer of God. It leads you with favor, and when you start talking to someone, you're like, I have this song, and then they hear and they're like, okay, it's actually a nice song, and they dance to it automatically. There are those times when you have to spend and you'll have to allow yourself to spend. Because
Absolutely.
to be honest, if you cannot allow yourself to invest in your own craft, then I'm not sure who will. If you've never felt the pinch of spending your own money investing in something that you're doing as a business, you will never understand how hard it is to actually make it into that space. If you belong to these communities and if you know people, knowing people is a good thing, to be honest. But people normally assume when you say you should know people, it's normally from a place of muscle. Sometimes when you just hang out, sometimes when you just, they are good people. People like Akina DJ Lighter, I love him because he's such a kind soul. Right. But you would easily bypass him because you assume he's a superstar and you don't want to know him. Now, as a manager, to this, now that's the other thing now. People need management.
This is advice for me.
People need management. People need management, and they need management with people who know how to form relationships in the industry.
Absolutely, yes.
Because to be very, very honest, if you're in the industry as a manager and you do not know which doors to knock, then you're actually also failing your artist.
Absolutely, yes.
Because you see, the role of a manager is to do everything else apart from going into the booth with the artist. The role of an artist is going into the booth and producing the product for you as a manager.
The creative process,
Yes. That is the only role an artist should be playing. Be an artist. When it comes to your dressing, your whatever, your work is to tell him, hey, you're supposed to be here for photo shoots, you're supposed to be in your booth now producing. The rest is yours. So as an artist, and as an artist manager, to be very, very honest, that is where most artists fail from. Because, and I was speaking this with Christine currently, and I was telling them, most managers tend to be people who you know from family. Most artists just take a boys, like, this is my manager.
My auntie and...
or even just someone you hang out with, be like, this is my manager.
Absolutely,
Zero knowledge, zero understanding of whatever they're supposed to be doing. But the truth is, in as much as you're taking that 30% out of that contract with the artist, that 30% needs to really count. Because they're the ones supposed to be booking him all the way to Dubai and telling him, my dear, we are supposed to be headed to Dubai for a performance. That does not come by chance. So if an artist is able to actually also get that right, management, then I think, and the manager also understands what their role is, it's going to be an easy one. Not all doors are going to be open at the first knock, but sometimes you have to knock them over and over again until now people cannot ignore you anymore.
Okay. All right. So I guess also maybe just touching a bit on ethics, transparencies, and best practices. How else can we sort of What other best practices can we consider when we're looking at creating greater openness for platforms to ensure like there's a level playing field for everyone? I mean, you already talked about building a community, and it's how much you push yourself, collaborative effort, budget as well, I guess, is a factor. But what other best practices can you consider to like put that ethical considerations into place and transparency?
Is that on the artist side, or is it from the industry side in general?
We can look at it from both. Maybe top two from both sides.
From the artist side, you just have to have your own discipline. And understand whatever you're trying to achieve. At the end of the day, as an artist, if you know that your goal is to leave the Kenyan market, not leave like go, but broad out of the Kenyan market and go into the international market, then that means that you have a lot of work cut out for you. But that work needs a lot of discipline.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, you have to have that balance. That is what has made people like Sautuso, people like Nyashinsky leave the borders and become big. By just the culture of who they are. Okay. People like Calligraph, these are people you don't joke with. They are good people. They are good artists, and they are very friendly and very warm. But based on how I know their discipline, based on how I know how they operate, I can't even joke with this time. Okay? Because I know for them time is money. Okay?
Absolutely.
Artists have to develop that culture. Just I wish every artist was able to take music as a business. Just like how you're seated here doing this. This is punctuality. This is this production which is going into it, and other people who are involved in this. So there's no space for joking around. Okay. Artists need to have that. When it comes to that kind of discipline, and also just viewing your music as a business, it will open your mind to a lot of things. You will stop looking at yourself it's good to see yourself as a superstar. It's always good to see yourself
outside of just being a struggling creative.
Always see yourself as a superstar. But also see yourself like the CEO of your business. So with the CEO of the business carries the vision and the mission of the company. So understand, which vision am I? If your vision is to just be going to perform in clubs and mkunye baadaye, then my friend, do that.
Yeah.
And do it wholesomely.
Yeah.
But do not complain why certain brands are not working with you, because you've also built your whole brand around something that they don't want to relate to.
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard to actually give you a family brand, yet your whole music has never been about family. You know,
yes.
I will happily give Kambua a Pampers advert as a brand to push it for me, but I would not give it to someone else who's always going to be in the club every Sunday, because and I say Sunday in the morning, we'll chapa haluta mpaka Sunday. It's gonna be hard because you don't relate to my brand.
Yeah.
So when you understand what your purpose is as an artist, then you'll be able to build your brand around that, and then now you'll have a purpose, or rather you'll have a way you're going to function from. On the other hand, when it comes to the industry in general, there's a lot, when you talk about ethics, I laugh sometimes, because the unfortunate thing is that, let's even start from the top most, which is the government. We have a lot of struggle when it comes to the creative arts and how the government is protecting that space. There has been efforts, and we have seen a number of efforts here and there, even in terms of policy making. But we still have a very long way to go. And this is not even just a Kenyan problem. To be honest, it's actually an African problem.
Okay.
It is actually not unique to us. From the conversations that I've had, IP law especially has become something which is still new and still brooding, and people are actually now being able to be paid when their laws are breached, when the IP laws are breached. That's why there are people like Nonini who have been able to be paid when their music has been used illegally. That is, for me, it's a step towards the right direction. Exactly. It shows at least there's some effort, and there's some people who actually have the interest of the artist at heart. But we still have a very long way to go, because even when it comes to just simple things as collection bodies, we still don't even have collection bodies that are working for the artists. There are still cartels that are still gatekeeping these processes that are supposed to be making money for these artists. That's why we will still complain about money, but it's because when it comes to even getting these artists paid, we're not doing everything correct for them to get paid. It is tough, because to be honest, this artist has put investment into their production and even how they look, generally, even just simple makeup. It is a lot of money. My God, I'm telling you, I stand ladies who do makeup every day, because I'm like, how are you affording these things? And then you see this artist every day with a glam team and all this, and you're like, how are they getting paid? And you see now most of the artists sometimes are forced to have like a day job, and then they do music on the side. Which actually also affects their creativity. I can't even blame artists when it comes to how many releases they do in a year, because where do they have the time? Someone has a job.
Where does it come from?
Someone has to go to the bank, to withdraw money, to go to the studio, to start churning out content. Now you see, with the kind of standards we have even in the streaming space, there are certain things we can't agree. There is quality of music that we cannot upload into our system. Even the pictures that you use on your profile, when it comes to the platforms, also has a resolution quality that we cannot go below, which means you still have to have a studio session. Leave alone just the recording one, studio session, those are pictures. Then it comes to you even just being seen outside here. You don't want to be seen with your pajamas here and there. Even just going to
branding.
Branding is important. So when we see all these policies are not supporting the artists, to be honest, it's normally a bit sad, because I feel like there's a lot of money that circulates, especially when it comes even from the collection from the mainstream media, which can do very, very well to support these artists, because tabu niambia why in a whole year akina Bian Calligraph are getting 500 from MCSK. How is that fair?
Absolutely not. With the number of streams that they get, my friends, the kind of marketing that they do, the tours that they have, etc. Like it's
that makes sense.
Crazy to me,
And you see even the concerts that they have, and you see even us when we're doing a concert, because in Boomplay again we have even tried to do concerts we have done 2 big concerts which were mainly focusing on a stage lineup of the local artists only. Even when we were planning for it, we paid for licenses. So tell me, if we paid for licenses and we're just one event, how many events are happening in a month in Kenya?
So many.
And they paid for licenses. Tell me why will they still be giving artists 2,500?
Doesn't make sense.
So that's why I'm saying there's a lot of ethical issues that we are facing in the industry, and it is from all sectors, not unique to us again, like I will say. But now speaking for Kenya, I think if we can actually just tie some of these ropes, then we will be way, way, way far ahead when it comes to even just ensuring that everybody is getting what is worth their time and energy.
So you've talked about a bit of what we should be expecting when we look into the future. You've also given us quite a bit of advice, a lot of gems that we've come into.
Thank you.
What else? What do you see in terms of future trends when it comes to building your algorithms and playlisting?
That is not going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
Mainly because when it comes to playlisting, it is whatever these platforms are, like even Boomplay, you can create, the user can create their own playlist, the artist can create a playlist. There is a system generated playlist, which normally tops charts and all this kind of information data driven. Basically, there's also now the ones that are done by operations and the editorial teams in the different platforms, right? I can tell you for sure, playlisting, even whatever DJ does is literally playlisting. Even whatever DJ does is actually playlisting. It's just that now it's for mass consumption at the same time. So playlisting is not going anywhere anytime soon. So these are some of the things which will continuously affect the algorithms. So what I think the future looks like is we are going to be having artists who are very, very intentional when it comes to the consumption of their music. I speak about artists like Njirai, like Mutoria, Kithan. This is a new breed of artists who, number one, their style of music is R&B. It's like so first of all, let's start with, they are bringing back the quality R&B that we were used to. If you're like a 2000 baby, there's a kind of R&B we knew. That's the ones that we hear nowadays that is like, it's pop and R&B. I'm like, hey, the Neo, the Mary J. Blige kind of R&B, which actually touched on our emotions. Okay. Now, the kind of artists that we have who are now bringing that back, especially in the Kenyan market, are reintroducing that music that was speaking to our emotions. And you see now the thing about the East African market, we are storytellers. We want things that affect our emotions. The West Africa, they do more of beats. So it's whatever about getting on your feet, starting to dance. Immediately a Nigerian song goes here, you'll start dancing. Most times what we produce in the Africa, that's why Akina Zilizopendwa was really big, because they used to give a story. That's why those songs were long. They were giving a whole story 10 about... 10 minutes long. Just like, come Jamalisa. You were there. I was just enjoying those stories. I just feel like I'm in a class listening to a whole hadith kind of thing. And when you check how music has evolved, we are going back to a place where we are now giving stories again. And the truth is, we are more of those people who like to relate to a storyline. That's why like Nairobi is sticking, because Nairobi is giving us a story about how this BN went, found this chick in Mikocheni, and then now the next thing took the number and Kamwambia Shawana. You see, it is like, so even when you're singing into it, you're actually enjoying the tune and you're seeing it. You're having a whole movie in your head. You don't even know where Mikocheni is, but for some reason now you're in Mikocheni with him watching this babe. So how the future looks like is we are going to have a new breed of artists who are going to be very intentional with their music, intentional with how they sign their contracts, because those are some of the things that most of the artists also have a deficiency in, information on what to look at when they are actually signing these contracts, to ensure that they're not taken advantage of. Because the truth is, the people who are going to, every market has that person who's always going to try and take what they don't want to pay for. We have also artists who are very, very intentional in terms of even collaborating with brands and other artists in regards to their packaging. Like Kithan has recently released an EP called Dira, which is actually based on a musical movie. It's a short movie. So that is a creative way of packaging your tracks. So there is consuming the EP itself, and there's consuming the movie, and the movie is also marketing the EP, and the EP is also marketing the movie. So you see, these are some of the creative things that most of the artists are now starting to integrate into their style of music and production, which is now for me mind-blowingly amazing, because at least it's getting people out of the comfort zone of just the normal thing of you release on YouTube, then you spam everybody, please watch my video, which, to be honest, how many times do you watch those videos?
Really, actually. Nowadays, I don't know the last time I was on YouTube, to be honest, even.
Exactly. And that is the thing most people don't understand. And I was telling the same with an artist. I was telling them, people actually hate those links that people share. Even I, as someone who's in the industry who keeps up with whatever is coming out, whatever is being released, I rarely open those links. I do my own research differently from how you
or
are
I'd rather
thinking that I'm
even
doing
just happen to see it somewhere
Exactly.
while I'm listening to the music I'm listening to. Yeah.
So we will have to be very creative about how we release music. We'll have to be very creative about how we inform fans that we have released music.
Yeah.
And then also just sometimes if it's not broken, don't fix it. TikTok is working in terms of becoming as doing sing-along. I don't know why people are shifting away from that again. Sing-alongs used to do very, very nice when they were doing those trending videos where they were sing-alongs.
Yeah.
You know, they were still working.
I mean, they're bringing it back. There's open verses now.
Yeah.
Dance-alongs.
They
etc.
work very well.
Yeah.
So that does not need to be fixed. We just have to figure out how do we creatively now start using the same.
Right.
And then if people can also just know how to also integrate the other facets of the creative space as well into their music, it will do very, very well. If you can be able to release your track by joining or rather collaborating efforts with, let's say, someone like an influencer, let's say even like Terence Creative or Njugush or Akina, I wanted to say Miliwa Jesus, and I'm like, hey, no. Akina Jackie Matubia. I've seen Jackie Matubia doing the same thing where she did a sing along with a release which is coming out.
Right, yeah.
And I'm like, you can actually also just get them to do creative things with their music.
Absolutely,
get them, send these things to them and tell them, can you use this as a soundtrack? I'll give you full permission. Bahati is big on that.
Yeah.
Bahati and Mara are huge on that. Do you know Diana actually
duly
uses
noted. I will be reaching out.
Just check. She uses a lot of Bahati's songs as her as her soundtracks.
Right.
So people are unconsciously consuming without knowing they're consuming. And then when you're listening to this song, you're like, but I've heard this song before. Where have I heard it from? Kumbe, you're watching a Diana vlog and you didn't know. That's why you're actually listening to it.
Yeah.
So when we leave the comfort zone of just doing things the normal way and start doing extraordinary things when it comes to marketing our content, the future is bright.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for those gems. And if there's anything that... Let's assume that our audience hasn't heard anything we've said for the past hour. What final thoughts would you give them, or what takeaway would you give them? And then also, where can we find you on social media if you're free to share that?
Yeah. So my key takeaway for artists most times is just don't give up. Please don't get tired, because yes, sometimes the industry does not really give much to hope for.
Right.
But if you're working from a place of passion, just enjoy that and just don't give up. Just put your best foot forward. Put in the work. And when I say the work, not just studio, but even outside here, do your research, figure out how can I uniquely start marketing my content. There is something that is going to give somewhere, and you'll be surprised that you'll be discovered by someone you don't even expect that they are looking.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that is my key takeaway from most artists, that they need to see their music as a business where they should not give up.
Yeah.
Put in the work, and if you do, well, we are still here. We can give you just like a moment of like, oh yeah, don't. Or we can give you the hard kind of love and be like, why are you giving up?
Yeah.
What have you tried? Because most times I have had those conversations. Sometimes I'm like, hey, I think I'm leaving the industry, and I'm like, what have you tried? And we sit down and we realize an hour later that they have actually not tried anything, but because they also did not have that information. So I am available on let me say LinkedIn most times, because the other social spaces are very private. I've gone into a place where I have still locked them away.
I feel that, absolutely.
They're so private. But LinkedIn is normally open, and I'm Elizabeth Karuru on LinkedIn, so it's the easiest one. Otherwise, you can just shoot me an email on liz.karuru@gmail.com, and I will happily engage and see how I can assist.
All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to give us insights on that. And we hope to have Boomplay as part of Boomond as well. So.
Yeah, mniambia naingilia mlango gani?
No, so tutaongea nyuma ya tent.
Nyuma ya tent.
All right, then. Thank you so much.
No problem. I'm so grateful.